Razer, you're really starting to confuse us these days. First off with your V1, V2, V3. Have we hit V4 yet? The number one thing that's confusing me, Razer, is you're calling this a Viper. This is the Viper, but you call this a Cobra, which is like a Viper Mini. Kind of goes right in line with the Death Adder. You call this a Death Adder, which is a different shape. You're just messing with me with these names now. But wow, does this new Razer Viper really confuse me. And I will talk about why this mouse confuses me, but as we just go over here, I'm sure you all are gonna be able to catch on to how it is confusing. Number one, what you get in your box is the mouse. You can get a AA battery, you can get your dongle, and you can also get a special bundle directly from Razer only that will come with the Hyperspeed, the up to 4K wireless dongle right there. So anyways, let's get to the mouse itself here and take a look at it. Looking over here, and again, just straight up number one, as I'm twisting it over, you're like, what the heck, Viper? Like, really? Again, we'll talk about that more. But anyways, looking over here, talking about the coating, number one, it is a smooth coating, which is pretty much the exact same as the wireless Death Adder V3, right? V3. Again, I get confused with the Vs, but again, it's the exact to a T, same coating as that mouse there. Anyways, back to the Viper here. You can see the buttons, very nice. They do stick out a bit more now, so they're not recessed in. Very easy to press. Scroll wheel is nice and recessed in there as well. Flipping the mouse over, as you see, you have your PTFE feet, and look at how far forward that sensor is. And yes, you will notice that in gameplay. Again, with sensors being forward, you notice that flick a little bit more pronounced right there, rather than if it's in the middle, where you kind of got to move it a little bit more. So, I don't know, some of you may have to lower your DPI a little bit. I use slower control pads, so for me, it was noticeable, but again, not game-changing for me. Anyways, on the back of the mouse again, being wireless, you see you don't have your charging port right there because it does use batteries. Again, we're going to pop out this door right there. There it is, popped out, and then you can fit your battery in it. If you see right down in there, you got a little dongle storage. So right here, this is the battery it comes with, the Energizer AA. And that's a little lofty. Let's go on and pull out the scale here and just see. I'm going to pop this battery out real quick. I did not use the Energizer that came with it. I used a lithium AA that I purchased myself. So this battery here is 23 grams. Just seeing a difference here. You got 14.9, so a significant difference going from the battery they supply, and then if you went lithium, I'm sure you can get that AAA adapter that people have used before. Anyways, let's go on and test the mouse. Should we put the door? Let's leave the door off because you really don't need it, right? So anyways, you're going to get 57.3 with the door off. If you're just curious, let's go on and set that door on there. You're getting 58.4. Now let's put the battery in that they supply. Without the door, you're getting 80.5. So it's sure to jump up. With the door, 81.7. Now, how I used it, my pretty much entire time using it, I tested it at first, like day one, with the supply AA and then the regular dongle here, which is 1000. But the majority of my time was with my lithium battery and then the 4K polling rate dongle here. So just so we know as what I'm talking. Anyways, putting our lithium battery in here, slapping it on the scale. Can you guys see that? We're getting 72.2. That is without the back door. So a significant difference right there. Slapping the door on 73.3. So I just straight out the gate, I highly recommend you get a lithium battery. Kind of wish Razer would have supplied that. And again, if you get that little AAA adapter, I don't know, I didn't test that, but you'll be able to save a lot more weight with that as well. Now, one thing I want to point out here using the battery. Again, you can see the battery goes on the bottom rather than what we saw in the Death Adder V2, the one with the buttons over here, right? You pop the shell off and you can fit the batteries in there, kind of like with the Orochi as well. So now Razer is putting this battery down on the bottom. And I want to talk about this here. So with that mouse or with the battery on the bottom, the center of weight of this mouse is prime time, right smack dab in the middle. Like, it's right there. Very well balanced all around the mouse. It is pristine. But with that battery being down here, you clear as day feel that lower weight. Like, especially this being kind of relaxed claw, I don't really think you're going to be palming this, but you can pull it back into your palm right there. But even my gameplay, I was just moving around with my fingers a lot. If I needed to hold this shot, I still could, which we'll talk more about those dimensions coming up. But talking about just the core use with that battery, you feel that lower weight. And whenever I swapped it out to my main, being the Death Adder V3 wired one here, you really notice that weight being lowered. Not just the weight in general, because you all know weight's not a big issue to me. Yeah, I like a lighter weight mouse, but it doesn't have to be ridiculously lightweight. But that weight has to be distributed nice. And this weight is very low. I honestly wish they popped the shell off and you could put the battery up towards the top so it's sit in the middle. Because again, if you're dancing around with your fingers, you're going to feel that weight within your fingers there. It kind of drove me a little nuts. Now, one other thing I want to talk about with the battery, not to beat a dead horse and just keep harping here. The other thing I noticed, especially if you lift your mouse up, let me get a mouse pad over here so it'll be a little more fair. Anyways, this is my mouse pad I usually use, the Lethal Gaming Gear Saturn here. Kind of softer control pad. But anyways, if you're lifting your mouse up and kind of dancing around, my primary game these days is Destiny, right? But anyways, you feel that battery kind of, I don't know if you can hear it. Let's see. Yeah, see, I don't think you can hear it, but you feel a slight vibration. If you lift your mouse up just a little bit and kind of pull it up, you kind of feel that battery, which is vibrating in there. Let me see if you guys can see it. I doubt the camera can pick it up. Down in there, you got that battery contact with the spring, the other contact right there. So again, with it, whoops, there we go. With it kind of pouncing down, you feel that vibration. I thought it was just me. I was like, okay, maybe it's just messing with my head. But no, when I took the battery out, it completely goes away. So again, I'm sorry to beat a dead horse about using the battery. You're like, dude, it's a battery mouse. Like, who really cares? But I can't stress it enough. You do feel that weight towards the bottom and you feel it bouncing around. I didn't know this on the Death Adder V2, whatever, the batteried one, or the Orochi. I did not notice those two issues, but on this mouse, unfortunately, you do. Now let's get into one of the more juicy topics about this mouse, and I bet it's going to be one of the more controversial topics about this mouse when other people start reviewing it and talking about it. That is the shape, because again, looking at this, well, it doesn't look like a Viper. Let me go on and pull out a Viper right here, right? So we have the Viper, you're seeing it. It looks not even just the buttons, okay? Don't even look at, okay, well, this one's sharp back here and this one's kind of flat, just more like the Death Adder over here, right? So let me put this in the middle so you can kind of see the difference. Again, we have the new Viper V3, the original over here. So you're seeing the button layout is more like this, but don't let that play mind tricks on you. I want to talk about just that core shape. Putting the new Viper in your hand, it's clear as day, like just going like that to that, you feel it. I feel it here and here. If I'm going with kind of like that claw grip, right? I don't know if the camera can pick it, but I'm feeling it here and here. Not so much in the bottom of my palm, but here and here, right? Now I'm gonna come over to this one, same grip. It's kind of setting me right back there, but it's not touching me yet here at all. Now, if I just dance it around like it would be, you can see it's really not gonna touch me anywhere. This one being a little bit more plump, again, that hump is clear as day right in the middle with that center of the weight. And if you look at it like this, you can see it a lot better. This is just a little bit more plump than the original one. Now, why I got the Death Adder right here as well, again, looking like it, and it's not just that. The Death Adder is a big ergo mouse. It's no brainer for us, right? But putting this in the hand, it's hitting me in some of those contact points as the new Viper here, right? So honestly, like, you can look at numbers and we can do all these other comparisons to Zowie mice and this, that, the other, but the only comparison you need are these two mice. What is the Viper V3 here? It is a middle point of these two mice. If you ever wanted a slightly bigger, plumper Viper and this felt a little small for you, that's this. If you ever wanted a slightly smaller mouse than the Death Adder V3 and this felt a little too plump, well, this is going to do that for you. So I hope that makes sense for you guys, because again, you all know in my mouse reviews, I love talking shape and I love talking comparisons of other shape, because at the end of the day, shape is king. There's no other way to slice it, right? It's got to fit your hand. And talking about this fit in my hand, it fit me great. It really did. There's no denying I don't like the original Viper. It's not that it's a bad mouse. It's a great mouse, right? But it's still a little bit too low for me. I like something that I can get in the back of my hand. I can hold shots. Again, me playing Destiny a little bit more. You got to hold that target, lock it, pop it, shield, bam, and then pull its health down, you know? This I'm kind of losing a little bit, right? So why I use ergo is I can hold it perfectly. It's right there. But I got to understand, a big ergo might be too plump for some people, right? This is that comfortable, safe middle ground. I say safe. We could even go G Pro safe. Now I want to talk a little bit about my actual time using it and gaming with it. And again, the majority of my time was with the lithium battery that does not come in a box. You got to buy that yourself. And then with the 4K dongle. And if a lot of you has got the Viper or the Death Adder, I'm sure a lot of you have that and you can just pair it right up to it. Or of course, like I stated, Razer will have this as a bundle for a little bit cheaper. But in the box, it comes with the 1000 and then that Energizer battery, which the Energizer is a little bit heavier. But talking the 4000 to the 1000, I mean, you're going to struggle to tell a difference. I know a lot of people get on me when I say that, but again, it's, you know, I game at 1440p at 165 hertz, so I'm not gaming at that high 360 hertz. So I don't know. Check your internet before you're checking the polling rate of your mouse, right? So anyways, that's a different topic there. But as far as my time actually using it, let's go on and kick it off with the switches here using a Gen 2 mechanical switches. So after listening to those buttons there, you can hear they are clicky, but they are a little softer. That could also be me coming off the G Pro review where those things are incredibly heavy and loud. So anything's going to feel louder than that, right? But this is just, oh, I really love it. It honestly feels just like the original G Pro Superlight. So if you like those lighter switches, I think you're going to like these. Now, as far as button play, there's really not any because you can see the buttons go into that side right there. So it's preventing it from going from the outside. As far as pushing inside, there's pretty much none. One thing I did notice, again, me playing Destiny, you all know I like to grip my mouse and I grip a little bit firmer. On my right click here, I would feel like if I held that shot and kind of pressed it down a little bit, I kind of feel it budge a little bit. So it's hitting that switch, that little, the button activation in there, and I would feel it kind of slide over just an absolute mild amount. This would maybe happen maybe 2 out of 10 presses or something like that. That might even be exaggerating right there a little bit. Again, it's not something that's constant. It's only if I was really pressing hard, kind of really an intense moment, bam, I'd feel it kind of pop off or slide off that switch down there a little bit. I don't think that's game breaking. That could just be, again, my firmer grip. But talking about the side buttons here, no matter where you press them, whether it be on the inside or the outside, on both of them, oh, very tactile and right to the point. I love the spacing right there. If I was to nitpick, maybe they're back a little bit too much, but again, it's right in that middle right there. Again, goes right in line with that weight for me, where I like to kind of get the mouse into my hand a little bit and make sure that hump can hit me in the back. I personally just wish they were forward a little bit, but I think the majority of people are going to get down with this in a claw grip, and those buttons will be in a perfect position for that. Now, the last thing I want to talk about as far as my actual use of it, again, is as far as the battery and then that sensor placement. So Razer is stating you can get up to, I believe it's 250 hours of battery life. That is with using the supplied battery and then with 1000 hertz polling rate there. Now, as far as using it with a lithium, I'm not too sure. I've been using this the entire time, in my dongle here, as far as the battery indicator just started turning yellow. But as far as battery life running 4000 hertz, it definitely decreases quite a bit, dropping down to 75 hours. Again, that's with the supplied battery. As far as using lithium, again, I don't know the numbers on that, but since my testing, which has been close to a few weeks now, it just started turning yellow. Anyways, talking about all that, compiling it up, the specs that you're getting with it and everything, the price of this mouse is awesome. It's 70 bucks. I love it. That is so cool. And the weird thing, I know this mouse is going to kind of spark some controversy out there, whether it be on socials or in the comments, all right? It's kind of like, well, why would you not make the pro version? You know what I mean? I think that might be some of the things out there. But then some people be like, oh, well, why are you just jumping down with a $150 mouse? I love it where companies introduce the budget option first. It's crazy. You don't see it much, right? Every company pretty much always releases their top tier product. Bank on that, and then release the lower versions later on down the road. So I high five Razer on this aspect, 100%. Now, as far as calling this a Viper, like I stated in the beginning, it just really jacks with my head, right? Because again, this is the Death Adder, and then you call this a Death Adder. Like, I think we should have changed the name right here, right? You got the Viper over here, which is clear as day a Viper, and then you got the Cobra that is a Viper Mini and you call it the Cobra, right? I think we should have called this the Cobra and kept that the Viper. And again, I don't know, I think called this something different than the Death Adder. I think we're kind of selling a name here, right? The Viper's tried and true, the Death Adder's tried and true, right? For me at least. Let me know down in the comments, is this just me? But it's just messing with my head. Like this being so different from that deserves a different name. This being so different from that deserves a different name. This being so similar to that should have been a Viper. Again, that's just my consumer mind talking here. You know, it's very confusing, but yes, I really do like this product, and I am very excited for the Pro version because I think it's going to fix that battery, that weight be down at the bottom, and then that bounciness right there. So I'm very excited for the Pro version, but yes, as a budget mouse, complete win. So anyways, thank you so much for coming by for my review of the new Razer Viper V3. I hope I was able to help you out, and I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please hit that thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe, and I hope to catch you in the next one. Bye now.